this Navalpakam Vasudevachar book, where this 8th sloka is commented. No, what he says is Dravyam. There is no Dravyam according to the Vaibhashika Bautam Matam. There is only this perception.
1 second, Swamin, kunja 1 second. Bingo.
Okay.
Just a second, Swami. Just a second. You can go ahead, Swami. See, I had to start the YouTube. Elena will lose the recording, right?
Yeah,
that is why.
What this Vaibhashika Bauta Madam says, there is no separate thing called Dravyam. It is only the attributes of Dravyam is, that is the Ada Nityam, Ada available, Dravyam, Adraivam. We should not distinguish between Dravyam and Adravyam. Adravyam is this attribute of Adraiva. Yeah. So this is being condemned by our Swami Desikan by his Pratyabhijna Jnanam. And there are other Vaibhashika Mata people who says opposite to this. That means the Vastu only Nityam, but the attributes are all illusory, or it is not Satyam. These are the two arguments here. It has been commented by here.
One question, Swami. You were on the Tamil book you're reading from Navalpakam Swami.
Yes.
அவர் வந்து அந்த சௌத்ராந்திகான்றது ஏதாவது சொன்னாரா அந்த சௌத்ராந்திகா பத்தி இல்ல வைபாஷிகா சௌத்ராந்திகா யோகாச்சாரான்னு கூட லாஸ்ட் டைம் பேசினோம். We talked about the term called yogachara also.
He has not classified into different groups by name. He has not. He says Vaibhashika and there are other Vaibhashika. That's what he says. He has not clearly stated each Vaibhashika by its name, individual name. Anyonya Asraya Dosham. He is talking about Anyonya Asraya Dosham.
Anyonya Asraya Dosham.
Sambandham and all.
Yeah, I got it.
Can I just add to, because I have the book too. Is that okay?
Please go ahead.
And just to add on to what Devanathan Swami said, it says, apart from the gunas, what they consider here only 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, which are Niram, which is the color, Suvai, which is the taste, Manam is smell, and Sparsham is the touch. So these are the 4 things he has added there as gunas.
Okay, correct. Yeah. See, the reason why I am bringing this up today is this. I had a doubt. Vaibhashikan, I had a different view of Vaibhashika because I had gone through a Buddhism course. And one particular person who is very well, he's an Indian guy who became a Buddhist, Namba Iyengar man who became a Buddhist, who is also my friend for last 40 years. He told me, உங்க ஆச்சாரியெல்லாம் புத்திசம் சரியா கண்டமே பண்ணல, சரியான ஒரு புத்திசம், they don't understand what exactly Buddhism is அப்படின்னு ஓப்பனா சொல்லிட்டாரு. He is actually a good friend, but he's a convert. We cannot, we do find such people. See, why are we all getting together and studying? Means even we and our own children and grandchildren and other people will be facing other people around the world who will question our thoughts. So they have to have a very good basis. We have to have a very good basis. That is the idea, right? So our question, your definition of Sautrantika, your definition of all these things are all not correct. For example, all of you are thinking Buddhists are nihilists. Abdina, they are denying the external world completely as unreal. Because the objects don't exist, but they're only perceptions in your mind. That's what you're thinking. But really speaking, that is not true. Your whole definition of Shunyavada is wrong. That is what that professor, he's a professor in a big university, and he challenged me. So in the points, I think we should have a very strong understanding. See, we can just read off the whole thing and say, that is, if all of us are happy with our own view of what we study, that is perfectly all right. But the thing is, if somebody questions and we should have at least an overview which is not wrong. That's what I feel. Because right now I'm getting a little bit of problem. Yesterday itself, when I studied, when I was talking, the Vaibhashika was not very clear, number one. And yoga, see, and the matangal konjam mix pandra mari thonithu enakku. In the original, so obviously Swami KSV Swami opens up this, that is Vaibhashika Sautrantika. And ஒரு இடத்துல சர்வ அஸ்திவாதங்கள் இப்ப எக்ஸ்டர்னல் வேர்ல்ட் இஸ் ரியல் அப்படிங்கிறாரு ஒரு இடத்துல, யாரு நம்ம கேஎஸ்வி சுவாமி. அது என்ன, அது எக்ஸ்டர்னல் வேர்ல்ட் ரியல் அப்படிங்கிறாள். பௌத்தாள் வஸ்து இல்லை அப்படிங்கிறா. அது என்னடா, அதே வேற மாதிரி பௌத்தா அப்படின்னு ஒரே ஒரு வேர்ல்டுல ஒரு 18 ஸ்கூல் இருக்கு. There are 18 schools of Buddhism. You can't combine them in one word of Buddhism. It is like saying human beings. There are good human beings, bad human beings, but somewhere in between. Just say human beings, it is a wrong classification, right? So I think we have to have a very clear understanding, and also, we are not saying KSV is perfect. We are not going to say that. We want to, while reading, is it understandable? Is it acceptable to others? Anyway, we can continue. We'll
Swami, நம்ம திருக்குடந்தை தேசிகன் இருக்காரு, நம்ம முனித்திரைய.
No, who is திருக்குடந்தை தேசிகன்?
He is the Kodasthar of Munitraya Sampradayam, under whom all the 3 munis, including the present day ashramam, studied. That is how the Munitraya Sampradayam came into being. He was there in Kumbakonam. No? So he
about 10 acharyas prior, Namariya, how long ago?
He was in the year, 1 minute, it is there in the book.
12 acharyas prior, before, or 11 acharyas before. He was not a sannyasin, but he was a grihastha. Under him, Valuttur Andavan, he was a primary disciple of Tirukudandai Deshikan. Actually, the Munitraya, the Anikam, which is generally used by almost everybody, is
Swami,
was authored by
Rajagopalan. One second, let me finish my.
Sure.
Okay, go ahead, Swami.
Whatever I want to say, I will say. And
okay.
He has written Sakasranamam about the Vedanta Desika.
Okay.
1000 slokas he has made in the name of Swami Desikan. On that, this Tattvamutta Kalabam starts from the 201 sloka.
Okay.
There he is narrating about the various matas prevalent and how Swami Desikan has dealt with Vaibhashika and others. Whatever we gain from the Tattvamutta Kalabam, everything he has made as a Sakasranama Sostram starting from 201. It's a very big book which is available from Foundrypuram Ashramam in Tamil.
Okay.
Those who are very familiar with the Tamil, I recommend them to read this. The page 110 to certain things, where it is elaborately given each and every matam, Mimamsaka matam, every matam which he is going to condemn through Tattvamutta Kalabam. is it has been, again it is done by Vasudevacharya.
So the thing is, wait a minute, do I understand this right, that the fundamental principle of these different matams are also given, just not by name, but
Yes,
there's some description.
Yes, yes, Matam and Nambude Samadhanam.
Okay.
How we reconcile with these things. The Gautamaruடைய நியாய சித்தாந்தத்துல நமக்கும் அவருக்கும் எந்த வேறுபாடும் இல்லைங்கிறத கிளியரா சொல்றாரு.
Okay. See, the thing is, in my mind,
ஒவ்வொரு மதத்தையும் ஒவ்வொரு ஸ்லோகத்துல சொல்லி அதுல வந்து தத்துவமுக்த கலாபத்துல சொல்லி இருக்கிற அந்த இதை அப்படியே திரும்ப ரிப்பீட் பண்றாரு இந்த ஸ்லோகங்கள்னால. ஒரு உதாரணத்துக்கு ஒன்னே ஒண்ணு படிக்கிறேன், அதை மட்டும் கேளுங்க. ஒரு ஸ்லோகம் மட்டும் படிக்கிறேன். காலஸ்வரூப பரவேஷான்ய பாவஞான துரந்தரஹா அப்படிங்கிறது ஒரு சஹஸ்ரநாமம் 248. காலஸ்வரூபம் ஆகாசத்தை விட ஈஸ்வரனையும் விட வேறுபட்டது என்று அறிவதில் தலை சிறந்தவர் சுவாமி தேசிகன் கூடிய ஒரு சஹஸ்ரநாமம். சோ இதுல வந்து கீழே வந்து சங்கை, வாட் இஸ் தி டவுட்ஃபுல், தென் சமாதானம், அப்புறம் மறுபடியும் எகைன் பூர்வபக்ஷ சங்கை, தென் சமாதானம். இப்படியே இட் கோஸ் ஃபார் ஈச் அண்ட் எவரி ஸ்லோகா இன் தட் தத்வமுக்த கலாபத்துல வாட் எவர் இஸ் செட், he has made it as a price of God, price of Vedanta Desika in Sahasranama. I read 248 as an example.
See, what would be good is, I have a little bit problem with Vaibhashika school, okay, because the modern understanding and our கொடுத்த understanding கொஞ்சம் டிஃபரெண்டா இருக்குமா தோணிட்டு
ஒரே ஒரு இது சொல்றேன் பாருங்க. யோக மதத்தை பத்தி ஒரு சின்ன ஒரு 4 லைன் எழுதியிருக்காருல்ல.
அது யோகமா யோகாச்சாரமா ரெண்டும் வேற. யோகாச்சாரம்ன்றது புத்திசம்.
ஆமா, காலத்துக்கு உற்பத்தி உண்டு, நாசமும் உண்டு என்கின்றனர். எல்லா நிமிஷங்களும் கலை, முகூர்த்தம், பகல், இரவு, மாசம் எல்லாம் பரமாத்மாவிடமிருந்து உண்டாகின்றன என்கிறது உபனிஷத். பிரளயத்திலும் இரவு பகல் இல்லை என்கிறது. எனவே சிருஷ்டிக்கு முன்னும் பின்னும் காலம் இல்லை, காலம் அனித்தியம். இதை மறுக்கிறோம், இது தவறு. சிருஷ்டிக்கு முன்னும் பின்னும் காலம் இல்லை என்ற வாக்கியமே அபத்தம். முன் என்பது ஒரு காலம்தானே, பின் என்பதும் ஒரு காலம்தானே. அதனால் எப்பொழுதும் காலமும் உண்டு. நாம் மாசம் வரப்போகிறது, பட்சம் ஆயிற்று என்று சொல்வதெல்லாம் காலத்தை அல்ல, காலத்தின் உபாதிகளை. மாசம் வரப்போகிறது, மாசத்தை கணக்கிட உதவும் சூரியனின் ராசி பிரவேசம் வரப்போகிறது என்று அர்த்தம். பட்சம் ஆயிற்று என்றால் சந்திரனின் குறிப்பிட்ட கிரியை ஆயிற்று என்று அர்த்தம். வேதத்தில் காலத்துக்கு சிருஷ்டி நாசம் சொன்னதுக்கும் இதுவே தாத்பரியம். உபாதிகளுக்கே உற்பத்தி நாசம் காலம் நித்தியமானது அப்படிங்கிறது நம்மளுடைய சித்தாந்தம். இது ஒரு உதாரணத்துக்காக சொன்னேன். இதை ஏன் சொல்றேன்னா, இதை கொஞ்சம் வாங்கி எல்லாரும் கொஞ்சம் படித்தா நல்லா இருக்கும். அவ்வளவு விஷயங்கள் இருக்கு தமிழ் தெரிஞ்ச வாழ்க்கை.
That's an interesting book, very interesting book. Did you see anything specific about Vaibhashika there?
நான் இன்னைக்கு தான் எடுத்துன்னு வந்தேன். நான் அமெரிக்கால இருக்கேன்.
Why don't we do one thing? Next time, please check only 3
உங்களுக்கு சொல்றேன்
definitions. All I'm looking for.
Yes.
Definition of Yogachara.
Yeah.
Definition of Vaibhashika. Definition of Sautrantika. The reason is and also we will always come up with a very famous school called Mahayana, or they call it as Shunyavadi அப்படின்றது Mahayana, right? So these 4 are very important for the Indian view. அப்படின்னா நம்ம வேதாந்திக் வியூக்கு வந்து ஒரு பூர்வபக்ஷமா வச்சுட்டு அது சரியில்லைன்னு சொல்லிட்டு வரோம். If we are denying it, we need to understand what they really told. If we don't understand what they really told, if we just deny something, it will be not acceptable to anybody, and it won't be acceptable to us also. That we didn't even know their position and we started attacking them. That's a very bad view. Okay. Next time, we'll do that. In the meantime, let me do one thing. I will just revise a few sentences in the past. I will show my screen regarding what the couple of things. Not this. Hold on a second. Yeah.
Namaste, sir. This is Prashant here.
Yeah.
So what I had read earlier about these two schools, Vaibhashika and Sautrantika, is they were subsects of the Sarvastivada school of Buddhism. But that is a little bit confusing.
No. Why don't Prashant ji? What we will do is we will look at it again. Don't worry about it. We will look at it again. Okay. Don't worry about it. Let me just share screen here. Share screen here. Share. Now I think you can see my screen with the Sanskrit here, right? Okay. Okay. Let's get a little bit. Why I got confused here is look at this. See, we skip through this a little bit. So that's why I'm going back a little bit so that we don't miss it properly. We don't, we don't just miss it and not understand it properly. Anantara kale badaka pratyaya abhavepi pratitehe brantitve ghatadinaamapi mithyatum syate. Here, look at this particular thing. Vaibhashika sautrantikau jagat satyatvavadinau. That means both Vaibhashika and Sautrantika school of Buddhism think that the world is real.
Real.
Ataha na ishtapatti sambhavaha. We understood this particular idea. We don't have to go back about it. But we have to remember that not all Buddhism thought that the objects were all unreal. So when it came to Yogacara school, that is where they said that they are subject-oriented people. That means their knowledge and thinking and internal world is real for them. The external world is unreal in the sense that they are mental projections. That is a Mahayana school, which comes under Yogacara. So we have to be careful in understanding Buddhism properly. That's what I mentioned. I don't think we did any mistake here. We read exactly what we were looking, when I remember Sri Kesri Swami has written this, right? It is not in the original. Vedanta Deshikar never says, I am now condemning Vaibhashika school. No, I am condemning Sautrantika school. Vedanta Deshikar never opens this up in the verses. So we will come back now and let me give you just a quick view of, so that everybody gets the concepts correctly. Just 1 second. Before we move into the next, let me, as an overview, do you see my screen? That is the Buddhism screen?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. See, the reason why I want to show this is we should have a confirmed view of what we are talking about. Then what happens is we will not have, see why? Because this will keep on coming. Vedanta Deshikar doesn't, there is no order in Vedanta Deshikacharya's argument. In the next sloka or in some other sloka, we again refer back to Sautrantika or Vaibhashika or some schools, right? The concept of the schools in our mind have to be very, very clear. That's why I just made a few slides a couple of hours ago. About 4 o'clock, I got up and made some slides. Here, if you look at it, Tipitaka, see, the Buddhism started when Buddha passed away. Nobody really, at the time, the couple of students were there, they didn't really write down anything. 100 years later, they started writing down things and they put it in 3 baskets. And the 3 baskets are called the Tipitakas. In that, the one was Sutta Pitaka. This is important to know, that's why I'm telling you. Sutta Pitaka is one box, and the other box is Vinaya Pitaka, and the other box is Abhidhamma Pitaka. So these three boxes these are all like boxes of books, right? Now, the first one is Theravada, which is the older school, that is known as Sthaviravada. That is the Hinayana, that is the older school. The Mahayana is a later school. Vajrayana became a very yoga kind of school, then that went to Tibet. So the schools are separated like this. I took it from a modern, I think he has done a good job. He's a professor at the Kaladi University of Shankara University or something. His name is Hari Krishnan. And I took it from his PowerPoint just a few hours ago. Luckily, I found him. Now, look at the idea of reality, right? Is there any reality? So and Madhyamikas, they said there is no reality. All is void. But what is void, we will find out later. Void is not, there's nothing. Nihilism, we should not say Madhyamikas are nihilists. That is wrong. So they say external world is not real, and their definition of reality is different. So we'll keep it separate. Yogacharas, only mental is real. That is what internally what you know, and that is real. Non-mental is external world. The material world is void of reality. Their reality definition is slightly different. We need to understand that. So this is Vijnanavada school. Here, both the mental and non-mental are real. So they are known as Sarvastivadins. Please understand, Sarvastivadins means everything is real for them. So what is inside the mind and what is outside the mind, which is the external world. So we need to understand that Sarvastivadins are accept everything as reality. Yogacharas only mind is real, and whatever objects is void of reality. That doesn't mean that they are unreal. Okay. Here, why am I coming here? Because I need to understand what exactly is a Vaibhashika, what exactly is Sautrantika. Right? Here, nihilist Shunyavadi, this is wrong. His word of this professor himself is wrong. They are not nihilists. Okay? Subjective idealists, Vijnanavadi school, Yogachara. So this is Yogachara we already mentioned. Critical realist, Bahya Anumeya Vadi Sautrantika. That we will come to this exactly what this means. Direct realist, Bahya Pratyakshavadi Vaibhashika. This is okay. This is not bad, but the first sentence he has written is wrong. Sautrantikas think that the external objects are not perceived but known by inference. That is the only thing. That is correct. What he is saying is right. So the external objects are never perceived but known by inference. We infer the external objects. That's what Sautrantikas think. Vaibhashikas think that external world is directly perceived through our senses. And Vaibhashikas are also realists. Wait a minute. They both come under Sarvastivada. Okay, one second. The Sarvastivadins are Vaibhashikas, I think. We will come back again exactly who Sarvastivada is. Sarvastivada is Vaibhashikas. I know they are Vaibhashikas. This is Madhyamika school. Knower, known, knowledge, or okay, everything is Shunya. Okay, this point I think we should clarify right away. Shunyavadis does not deny all reality, but the apparent phenomenal world perceived. See here, for a minute, I'm going to stop sharing. For a minute, I'm going to say what exactly Shunya means, because again and again, even our acharyas, they mention Shunyavada. See, everybody will have your own concept in your mind about Shunyavada. Shunya means nothing. Shunya means nothing. Shunya is zero. That's not true. Let me explain to you what Shunya is in a few minutes. Say, for example, a fruit, anything you see. Fruit has nothing on its own. Swabhava Shunyata, that's what they say. That is, it has got nothing of value by its own. That means what? The fruit depends on the tree because it came from the tree. Ah, is that true? Then what about the tree? Well, tree by itself has no value. It depends on some other entity. What are the some other entity? Some other entities: water, sunlight, minerals, seed. So everything has swabhava shunyata. That means it is dependent on other entities. When you start looking at the other entities, they are dependent on other entities. For example, if you say tree, then you are again going to minerals. Where did minerals come from? Earth. Where did earth come from? It was a part of sun, and it shipped off the sun or something 4.5 billion years ago. Again, where did sun come from? Some other bang from some kind of a star or whatever it is. So if you go on and on and on and on, after you lose sight of the idea that everything is dependent on other things, and whatever is dependent on other things is not considered real. So shunya is swabhava shunyata. There is nothing of intrinsic value in anything we see. It is not nihilism. Nihilism means nothing exists. Is this clear?
But at the limit, it will be nihilism, correct?
Huh?
At the limit, it will be nihilism.
No, it is not.
Because
nihilism.
if you keep going, for example, if you say everything, A depends on B, so A doesn't have intrinsic value, but B depends on something else, and so B doesn't have intrinsic value. Keep going at the limit, the
thing is, they never talk about the limit. It's a good point you brought. You brought a very good point. They say you keep on going, you will never get any value. So that is what is. See, please understand that Buddhists did not come to say everything is unreal. It's just apparent. All this kind of thing. That was not the view initially. Mula Madhyamika Karika of the Nagarjuna clearly says. In fact, I had summarized Madhyamika, Mula Madhyamika Karika's main definition of shunyata. I had summarized in one of my PowerPoints long time back. I had to search. I did this morning. I was messed up. I could not search and put it together. Shunyata means. Shunga?
So whether that the dependency is real or not? You said no. Example.
What dependency? What do you mean by that?
That means that the tree is depending on the water, and like that mineral is depending on the tree, like that. Whether that dependency.
Dependency, they agree, right?
That is real.
They agree on dependency. Yes.
Okay.
They agree on dependency. Niswabhavata. Intrinsically, it has no value to you.
Okay.
So what is value? What is value is nirvana, they say.
Like everything is shunyam. That means that dependency also shunyam have been defined.
No. That is not true. Dependency is not shunyam there. See, everything is, what do you call, asti nasti, syadasti, syannasti. Chatushkoti vinirmukta, shunyam tattvam ahuhu madhyamikaha. There is a shloka like that. Chatushkoti vinirmuktaha. Chatushkoti, koti na in the koti crore abdila chikakodade. Chatushkoti means there are 4 classes.
Okay.
Is a class. That means that which exists is a class. That which does not exist is a class. And that may exist is a class. That may not exist is another class.
Okay.
Any object you see around you cannot be classified in these 4 classes. So that is known as a shunya class. So all objects you see are only shunya in the sense that they are in the 5th class. That's all it says. That is, they are not determinable. In fact, I'll show you one thing. He has a couple of things. This person has made a good comment. I'll just share and show you.
One more thing, Swami. Our Alvar Swami has explained this Buddhism classification in Srivasham class. I think I don't remember exactly, from class number 291 to 295 something.
See, that would be a briefer explanation, Swami.
Yes.
There's a brief explanation. It is only summary explanation.
Yes,
And
yes.
the term
For
Shunya
exam
was not
point of
even. The
For
term
exam
Shunya
point
was-
of view.
என்ன சொல்லுவா?
For exam point of view.
Not to understand it perfectly. See,
Yes, I can we can remember the terms only. We have to revise each and every time.
definition, we have to be sincere to the Buddhists.
Yes, yes.
We cannot say they're awkward people, that people and all, right? So
Yes,
Shunyavadin does not deny all reality, but the apparent phenomenal world perceived. Behind this phenomenal world, there is a reality which is indescribable by any character. And he's saying that is nirvana. One second. Just a second. Okay. Shunyata is the name for this indeterminable, indescribable nature of things, dependent origination. This is known in the Sanskrit Buddhism called Pratitya Samutpada. And even Sri KSV mentions it here and there. Pratitya Samutpada. What that means is everything is dependent on something else. And at the end, there is no real value for anything. You got to turn back to Buddha's original problem. Sarvam dukkhamayam dukkhamayam, he said, right? That is, everything in the world is only sorrow. There is no value. So that is what he's trying to mention through Shunyata here. And this is Madhyamika school of Buddhism. And they call it as a middle path. Middle path na yanna, right? We have to say, if somebody says Madhyamika, you have to understand what Madhyamika is, right? What is the middle path? What are the other two paths? If somebody says middle path, there has to be a path on the left and path on the right. What is the left path and what is the right path? Any idea? Am I being heard or not?
Yes,
Hello?
we are hearing. We are hearing.
Okay. Suddenly I thought I lost you.
No.
Middle path means on the left you have nothing exists. That is complete nihilism. Nothing exists on the left. On the right, everything is real. Real means Prakriti is always there. Purusha or Jiva is eternal. So on the right side, you see absolute existence. On the left side, you see absolute non-existence. And Madhyamika is somewhere in between. It is in the middle. That is why they call it as Madhyamika. That they are not total nihilists. And this particular slide, I just took it quickly. I didn't even realize it. One second. I don't want to completely focus on what he has. This is one important. None of the appearances have any intrinsic nature of their own, nisvabhavatam. This is what Shunya means. Shunya does not mean pure negation, that is true, but that is relative to some kind of position. Even if you negate something, that means something exists. Then only you can negate something. So if not, so the Shunya doesn't mean this. Okay, we'll come to that concept. There's a little bit complex issue there. We don't need it. Now we come to Yogacara school. Yogacara school is a part I think it's a part of Mahayana. Yes, it is a Mahayana because the preceptors are Asanga, Vasubandhu, Dignaga. These are all Mahayanikas, right? We are remembering this because when in future, there are so many acts on Buddhism, and we have to carefully separate them out. Here, Vijnanavada school is only Vijnana is real. Vijnana is our Jivatma, or our personal consciousness is Vijnana. They don't say Jivatma, right? Because Jivatma is a real entity which is lasting. For Buddhism, there is nothing which is lasting. Everything is momentary. So here, there is no external reality for Yogacara school. Mind alone is real. That means only mind is real. The external world is not real. So object cannot be proved to have an existence independent of consciousness. Because I exist, I see this universe, or I perceive this universe. So this. Okay, this is unnecessary. I'm just. So object is not perceived, different from the subject or perceiving mind. So without the perceiving mind, objects don't exist. That means the universe is a creation of the mind. That is the Yogacara school. It admits that there is only one kind of reality, which is of the nature of consciousness, Vijnana, and objects which appear to be material or external to consciousness are really ideas or states of the consciousness. This is a very well written explanation. Let me see what he wrote in. Oh yeah, this is the one. And the Yogacara school is heavily yoga oriented. They do a lot of yoga meditation. So they came up with this Alaya Vijnana, because Alaya Vijnana will be mentioned by Sri KSV again in the future. That's why I'm just taking a few minutes here. Alaya Vijnana is home of all latent ideas, called the Alaya Vijnana. Where this is the 8th one. They say 8 states of consciousness. The first 5 is the consciousness regarding touch, smell, and all those things. Then mind is one state of consciousness for them. But internally, there is this Alaya Vijnana. It's the 8th one. I'm not exactly sure about the 8 states. So that will become we have to go deeper and deeper and deeper. We don't want to at this point unless we need to. So the Alaya Vijnana is that latent ideas are there, and that is the cause of the creation of new ideas, new thoughts, and it keeps on going due to the latent ideas, samskaras, they say, right? That samskaras, that state is known as Alaya Vijnana. We'll quickly finish this over. This is the notion of momentariness. We'll come later about that. Okay, now it's important. So Sarvastivada, we already know that it exists. Sarva Asti means Sarva means all, Asti means exist. Vada means doctrine. So everything exists. What does it mean? Internal and external both exist. It's a doctrine advocating that all external and internal are real. The Sarvastivada means one who upholds the doctrine that all things exist. So in this, there are 2 schools, Sautrantika and Vaibhashika. So Vaibhashika thinks that external world exists and it is visible by Pratyaksha. Sautrantika people think that the external world exists, but it is Anumeyika. Anumeyika means you infer the external world, you directly don't perceive them. I think that's the main difference between these 2 schools.
Anumana. Anumana.
Anumana, exactly. Anumana. And they're followers of Abhidharma Kosha or Abhidharma Shastras, Tipitaka, the 3rd one, actually. We don't want to focus too much on this. Okay, this is the Bahya Anumeyavada. That is, ideas are not objects, but only copies of them. Hence, objects outside can be inferred from their mental pictures or ideas. That is the Bahya Anumeyavada. This is Sautrantika. Okay. And Sautrantika schools, let's not spend too much time. Vaibhashika school, here is Bhaksha Pratyakshavada. External objects are directly known in perception and not inferred. Vaibhashika admits, like Sautrantikas, the reality of both mind and external objects. So in short, both are realist schools. Vibhasha, Vaibhashikas follow exclusively a commentary called Vibhasha or Abhidharma Mahavibhasha on the Abhidharma treatise. So why are they called Vaibhashikas? They follow a commentary on the Abhidharma Tipitaka, which is known as Mahavibhasha. That's all we know, right? That's the end of Buddhism story, right? Stop sharing.
A good
So we'll
explanation.
come back.
Very nice. But we have to put it in a same table, side by side, the concept.
Yeah, we have to do it. If we have time, I think it's a good, like a tabular column, right?
Yeah.
I'll try to do it in a few days. And we'll get back to our original text. That way we track back to Sarvankasha. Do you have a class or something at 7 o'clock? I thought I would just go for 15 minutes more. Is it okay? 15 minutes more? Or we should stop now? Because it's almost 7 o'clock now. We started at 6:15 roughly.
Yeah, we could go. No problem.
We could go. Okay. Now let me share screen and go back to the other thing I was trying to do, which is, okay. Now we come back here. Nanu Rupasya Sparshasya va pratyekam ekaika indriya grahyatvepi Ubayor melana dashayam dvayamapi dvirindriya grahyam bhavatu pratyekam asataha. Okay, then let us try to understand this. See what this the Rupasya means color, Sparshasya means touch. Both of them can be only perceived by a separate sense. Eyes can perceive color. The touch can perceive.
Rupa means form.
See, Rupam, yeah, sometimes it's used in the form. Sometimes it's used in color, as color.
Okay.
Yeah, and most of the time, I don't know why they're referring to color most of the time. See, for example, Sparsham can also know the form, right? Suppose I throw a tennis ball at you, you hold it, and suppose your eyes are closed. You still find it is spherical, right?
Yeah.
So here they're not talking about it. Here say, do you see the color of the ball by touching it? You cannot perceive the color of the ball by perceiving it or by touching it, right?
It is Rupasya Sparsam. Color you cannot touch. Rupa, if it is color, you cannot touch. Rupasya Sparsam.
Yeah. Color, your color is not perceived by touching. That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, suppose you just hold a tennis ball in your hand and you just touch it, you are not able to cognize the color of that object, right?
Yeah.
Unless you see it.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I meant. So Rupasya, so eyes can only see color or form maybe, but Sparsha, touch, can only have the touch sense. There are two separate indriyas. Ubhayorho melana dashayam dvayamapi dvirindriya grahyam bhavatu. So why can't I say when both are together at the same time, both the color and touch be visible to both indriyas? That is, eyes can see both, eyes can feel both, and then the skin can also feel both. Why can't we say that? Pratyekam asataha raktarupa visheshasya sudha haridra yor mishtane darshanat ityatra uktam. That means, what do you call them? So though we sort of agree that the senses are separate by itself, and this example of this, Haridra Churna or yellow stuff mixed with shunamba or some calcium carbonate or something, and then you get the red color and all. It's just an example. So saying that if these the touch sense and the sight sense, that the color sense is all mixed in an object, and why can't we say the indriyas also can see other what is visible to other indriyas? That's the question here. Sanghatadehe ayogaditi.
A single indriya can perceive two things. One is rupam and also its person, soft or nature like that.
Exactly.
And its shape also, if it is round or square or any such things.
Yeah.
So a single indriya can perceive two gunas. That is what he is saying.
No. See, the thing is, Dvirindriya, no, not like that. Dvirindriya, see, can my eyes perceive what I touch? Is the question.
Oh.
Can my eyes perceive what I touch? Suppose I am touching a hot object. Can my eyes perceive it?
No, only through the
exactly. Only through your tactile sensors, you know whether something is hot or not.
Yeah.
So that is why what the question is whether let's complete it. Then we will know the problem clearly here. Let's complete it. Ayam bhavaha mishrane ityasya ko artha. See, the summary is this. What Acharya Vedanta is arguing here is these two indriyas are separate according to Buddhism. Touch, sense, smell, they're all separate. And they are all separated by the indriyas. That is, each indriya can sense only one of it. Each indriyas cannot sense the other thing. Ayam bhavaha mishrane ityasya ko artha. Now the argument goes. Mishrane ityasya ko artha tattu vastu-stairyavada eva sambhavet. Vastunam kshanikatve iti pratyekam sthitameva vastu anyat. Milita kale sthitameva anyat. So this is a common problem in Buddhism. Okay. First, Buddhism believes in every second an object is created, every second is destroyed. Nothing is lasting. So, Mishrana means.
Swami, here the Pravaha Nityam is the Konduvarangla. The Bautal.
On the Buddhism, Pravaha Nityam Cholrazalewa. Buddhism. From one point, one moment to the next moment, absolutely new thing originates and then goes. There's no continuity.
Separate. Every kshanam, a new one is born. New one is destroyed.
See, if they accept Pravaha Nityatam, they are indirectly becoming realists, right? That is or Nityatva acceptance, right? It's an indirect way of accepting Nityatva. And that they don't want it. So, Vastunam Kshanikatvehi Pratyekam Sitame Vastonyat. That because Vastus are Kshanika, or momentary, what was mixed, that is, in a particular object, say a tennis ball, the color, yellow color, and the touch, a feathery touch or something, is all at the same time. And that can be perceived at the same time too. That is, eyes can see the yellow color, and when you hold the ball, you can see that, oh, it is like soft cloth kind of feeling. So touch and the sight can happen simultaneously. Then is these two senses mixing things up? What do you mean by mixing? Because here, in the previous moment, an object was different. In the next moment, the object was different. Ataha, kasya mishrana avastha varnitum shakya. So mishrana is not acceptable at all. That is, there is nothing called mixing in a momentary ideology. The philosophy of momentariness does not allow you to mix anything. Nacha vastunam kshanikatvepi avayava atiriktam anavayavinam na angikuruvatam sarvesham purvakshane pratyekata anantarakshane sanghata bhavaha vartate eva ityavastha bedaha vartate eva iti chete kshanikavadehi sanghata bhavopi durupapadaha. So the thing is, mixing is not explicable in the Kshanikavada. That is, momentariness cannot explain mixing because everything is different every moment. Eka kalavachedena, ekadeshavachedena va melanam hi sanghataha. What is sanghata mixing? That means in this, it should be at the same time or at the same space.
Yugapat. Ekakala. Yugapat.
Yugapatana at the same time. Yeah. Kalastu atiriktaha tanmate nastyeva. So in Buddhism, they don't accept kala. This is a very difficult thing for me to understand why they did not accept kala. Because Buddhism also knows that a person is born and they're going through old age and all those things. That means kala they had to accept. But for some reason, they don't even bring the term kala in their text. Deshaha yadyatiriktaha tarhi tayeva dravya padavachya iti siddhyati. So they don't believe in space, that is akasha. Because why do I need akasha? When I want when I want a cup, I take a cup. When I want something else, I take something else. So when I can define without the need for space, when I can define two objects, why do I need the concept of space? In that sense, they're doing it. Ataha tanmate dvayamapi asambhavi. So space is not accepted, time is not accepted in the Buddhism, in general Buddhism. Etat sarvam sanghatadehi ayogate ityanena suchyate. What is Sri Vedantika saying in this whole paragraph is this summary. Because these authors, even Sri Kesvi Swami looks at so many textbooks and writes, it's a little difficult to understand their viewpoint unless they understand the philosophy so much. But we'll just summarize it just for the heck of it. Summary is, the Buddhism cannot say two understandings, perception of the touch, perception of color through eyes, they cannot mix. So the sanghatadehi ayogaditi. Will we come back to the shloka? What does it say? Sanghatadehi ayogat avagamayati sa vastu rupaditonyate. Okay, come back to the original question we are asking. What we are saying is the attributes are different from the object which it persists on. That means the color, touch, belong to a separate object called that particular dravya. So we are trying to establish the value of dravya, saying dravya is important, adravya is also important. So that is why dravya, adravya, vibhaga we did. So this sanghatadehi ayogat means, oh, very good point. If the sense of touch and sense of color or recognition of color becoming mixed up, what happens is then you don't have to worry about the third object, which has both color and touch sense, right? So the sanghatadehi ayogat means Vedantishika argues that you cannot mix up your cognitions. That is the cognition of the sight, color cognition, and the touch cognition. If you mix it up and say the object does not exist, but only my cognition exists, that is wrong.
Interdependency. If the interdependency is there, the anavastha dosha vandaru.
That is also true. That's also true. So the main point here is Buddhist idea of denial of the object which has these attributes is not correct, because they cannot see, for them Buddhism, everything is what is felt by you. The color is also felt by you. The touch is also felt by you. The weight of the substance is also felt by you. Everything is only felt by you. So there is only your internal reality, but the external world is unreal. This is what the Yogacara school is trying to say. And that is what Acharya Videshika is denying here.
Yeah.
Because there is an Anyonyashaya dosham. Ama. அது வந்து முன்ன வர போறது இந்த அந்யோன்யாஸ்ரய தோஷம் நெக்ஸ்ட்ல வர போறது. I just want to அயம்பாவஹா இங்க முடிச்சது இது முடிச்சாச்சு இப்பதான் வர போறோம். So we are coming to the end of this particular, we only did one particular thing here. This is what we have done here. We just mark it here. Sanghate dade ayogate அப்படின்னா you have to accept an object which has all these characteristics. That is the idea. It's already like getting late. Ekasmin duratadehe avishada vishada pratyabhignati tattvate naikatvepi akshabhedat viduramiva mitha samshayadi prasangat. This one we will take it. This also basically says about attributes and objects are different. Dravya, adravya are different. So we have a good definition and our classification is right. That is Acharya's view. So let us stop here.
Okay.
If you have any questions, we'll take it up next time, but you can say your questions if you want. If there is none, we'll start.
I haven't a question, but something to ponder upon. Very nicely explained, like in a way, indirectly, they have to accept that reality is there, external reality is there. So even if I say the tree has come today, but it originated from something else, that has changed to something. So they do indirectly accept previously it existed, even though it is. And there is a continuous flow with it. And another point was, I know I'm Tamil based, so I can't help myself connecting it back to Alvar's Pasuram. The Sunyamradu vandu, unfortunately, we equate it to Bujyam or nothingness. But the Alvar vandu and the first Mudal Pasarathile is amazing. I think it's something for us to ponder upon. Ilanadu Udayanadu Yananinai Variyavan Nilanidai Visumbudai Uruvinan Aruvinan Pulanodu Pulanalan Urivilan Paranda and Nalanudan Uruvanai Nadiginam Nami. So there's something we can ponder upon, what Namalvar means here.
Definitely. A couple of places, Alvar's, this one is very beautiful there. Yeah, I know.
எத்தனாவது திருவாய்மொழி இது சொல்ல முடியுமா?
அது வந்து ஃபர்ஸ்ட் முதல் பத்திலேயே ஐ திங்க் நாலாவதோ, ஆமா, உயர்வர உயர் நலத்துல நாலாவது அதுலயே வந்துடுது. நாலாவது அஞ்சாதான் அடியன், ஐம் நாட் ஷூர்.
அந்த முதல் 21 பாசுரங்களுமே ஸ்ரீபாஷ்யம்னு சொல்றாரு.
ஆமா. Anyway, we'll stop here. Asmat Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Parama Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Sarva Gurubhyo Namaha, Shri Varadarjya Maha Gurave Namaha. Sarvam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.
ధన్యవాదాలు.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.